It was a scorching Texas morning when I spotted a woman in crisp linen pants and low heels pounding a violation notice into my front lawn. My 5-acre, veteran-owned slice of freedom at HOA free by design suddenly felt like a battlefield. The sign demanded $1,200 for landscaping violations and ordered me to tear down my American flagpole. I stood there in my flip-flops and faded plaid pajamas, coffee mug in hand, staring at this glossy nonsense stamped with a fake gold seal from something called Sunny Meadows Homeowners Association. My name's Tom, a retired Air Force logistics officer, and I knew two things right then. This was war, and this woman, let's call her Linda, had picked the wrong guy to mess with. The paper looked like it was printed by someone who thought Staples was the Pentagon. It listed fines, action items, and a chirpy line about maintaining neighborhood harmony. I laughed so hard I spilled coffee on my porch. Sunny Meadows didn't exist. I bought this land precisely because it was outside any HOA's reach, a fact backed by county records, and a map I'd double-checked. My property was my kingdom 5 acres with 2 rescue dogs, a barn I was turning into a workshop, and 0 pastel newsletters. Yet here was Linda, clipboard in hand, smiling like she was selling Girl Scout cookies, not trying to find me for my own dirt. I strolled down my gravel driveway to confront her. She was by my mailbox, which she'd slapped with a sticker reading Approved Color Code. Pending. She handed me another notice, thicker, with minutes from a meeting I'd never heard of. "Hi, Tom," she said, all sugar. "Your barn's too rustic for our community VYB. We're thinking sage green. Also, your fence is 14 feet past our new boundary lines." New boundaries? I squinted at her like she'd asked me to trade my truck for a unicycle. "You're not my HOA," I said. Her smile tightened into something sharp. By afternoon, I caught a group of strangers, some neighbors, some not poking around my land with measuring tapes and orange flags. One guy in a fishing cap was digging near my fence like he was hunting pirate gold. Another woman snapped photos of my garden gnome, muttering about non-compliant decor. I marched out, phone in hand, ready to call the county. Linda beat me to it. "We're launching a beautification project," she said, arms crossed. "Join us, Tom, or face penalties." I waved her fake letter. "This is trespassing. Fraud. How about Plat Maps Pro VYing you're full of it?" She shrugged. Not everyone agrees on jurisdiction. That night, I called my old Air Force crew. If I was dealing with this lunacy, I wanted backup from folks who'd once helped me move a tank in a blackout sandstorm. We met the next evening for a barbecue ribs smoking, beers cold, and someone INEVY tably losing a bet and a shirt. My buddy Sarah, a retired major and drone whiz, nearly choked on a jalapeno popper when I showed her Linda's notices. "Want me to buzz her garden party with a drone?" She grinned. "Get 4K of her trespassing." Tempting, but I wanted to keep it legal. For now. Sarah's contact at the county clerk's office called the next day. Linda had filed a backdated boundary adjustment, forged signatures from neighbors, including one who died 2 years ago, and slapped a lien on my property for covenant violations. She'd even submitted a charter claiming my backyard was under her HOA's control. This wasn't just annoying. It was a land grab. I sat in my barn, dogs at my feet, staring at my half-built tool rack. I'd fought bureaucracy overseas, but this was my home. Linda wasn't just crossing lines, she was trying to redraw them. By morning, I had a plan: get my records locked down with a lawyer, document Linda's scam, and, if needed, unleash my squad. Linda didn't know she was up against someone who'd orchestrated a 14-ton convoy drop with a busted GPS. She'd started this. I'd finish it, but she didn't slow down. The next day, notices were taped to my gate, stapled to my mailbox, even duct taped to my truck. They accused me of unpatriotic displays because my flag apparently ruined the VY Sewell Serenity. I half expected her to show up with a crown, demanding I bow to her pool noodle scepter. I called Sarah. By nightfall, my crew rolled in, Mike, a cybersecurity guru, and Chris, a logistics pro. We set up in my barn, surrounded by sawdust and lawn chairs, with a whiteboard labeled Operation Paper Empire. The goal? Expose Linda's fraud and protect the neighborhood. We rigged motion cameras and a trail cam I'd used for wild hogs. Within hours, we had footage of Linda and her posse, a yoga teacher, a retired sub, and a guy named Greg who fixed some pump sneaking onto my land with tape measures and a laminated map. Greg tripped over a sprinkler and called it sabotage. They were treating my yard like a real estate scavenger hunt. Sarah dug deeper, chatting with Linda's realtor. Turns out, Linda's ex-husband lost nearby land in a bankruptcy tied to dozens of failed ventures. She thought a fake HOA could reclaim it by redrawing boundaries. Delusional? Sure. Dangerous? Definitely. Neighbors started talking. Ellen, a retiree, showed up with a pink envelope finding her due law $300 for teal lawn chairs. Another guy, Steve, said Linda threatened to report his ancient bulldog to animal control. Quiet folks retirees, the elderly were panicking. Linda wasn't just a nuisance. She was a bully with a clipboard. We fought back. Chris cross-checked Linda's filings, finding forged signatures and fake dates. Mike scraped her shoddy HOA website, VYing every PDF and email blast, including one claiming membership was mandatory for mental health. We built a dossier that'd make a lawyer drool. Then Linda escalated. She planted a sign in my yard, pending compliance re-VYEW area, with orange cones and chalk on my driveway. A QR code linked to a donation page for her HOA fund. She wasn't just stealing land, she was crowdfunding it. Sarah called her county contact, confirming no subby VY Shown expansion existed. Linda had even filed anonymous complaints to rush her fake boundaries. Mike traced HOA fees to a shell LLC, Greenfield Property Solutions, tied to Linda's personal account. This was criminal. We kept spirits high with barbecues. Our bar now HQ for Task Force Free Yard. Our ops board, dubbed Linda's Web of Lies, had red string and photos like we were chasing a mob boss. It was funny until it wasn't. Linda called the county, claiming I stored military equipment in my barn and hosted non-resident operatives. She wanted fines or arrests. The deputy, a Navy vet, shared my brisket, saw my lawnmower-filled barn, and laughed. But that night, our cameras caught Linda on the phone, pacing her yard, saying, "We got the old man's place." This is phase 2. Phase 2. She'd conned an elderly neighbor, Mr. Carson, into signing over easement rights, thinking she was the county. This wasn't about me. It was a scheme to carve up and sell fake lots. The neighborhood was done. Ellen showed me a fake lien on her house, stamped with a blurry notary seal. Our ops board hit 57 violations. Sarah tipped off a local news outlet, and we sent our EVY Denke. The story aired. Fake HOA leader targets veterans, elderly. Clips of Linda harassing a teen over a trampoline went VY-RAL. She stormed my driveway with Greg and her cousin Dan, while VYing a cease and desist. I pointed to my camera. "Say hi to the DA." She froze. Then things turned ugly. Someone slashed all 4 tires on Chris's truck. Leah VYing a note. "Out's not welcome." A fire sparked by my shed, likely from a tossed cigarette Linda's crew had been there the day before. We doused it, but the scorch marks lingered. Sarah called every contact she had. We sent our legal packet to the DEA. Fraud, impersonation, trespassing, elder abuse. Linda's fantasy HOA was a crime ring. She still held a community meeting in the park, handing out fee hikes like nothing happened. But neighbors booed. She stammered and left. The courthouse was her reckoning. Linda strode in, cream suit pristine, with Dan as her legal ad VY Sayre and a mystery man with a fancy briefcase. She thought she was untouchable. The judge, a no-nonsense Navy vet, wasn't impressed. Dan tried to speak. The judge shut him down. Our lawyer, Rachel, laid out our case. Forged filings, fake liens, VY Deos, bank records, and Linda's own voice plotting to take land before they catch on. Linda called it a CIVYC leadership gap, comparing herself to a founding father. The judge's eyebrow nearly hit the ceiling. Ellen testified about her lien. Mr. Carson's niece cried over his tricked signature, and Greg flipped, admitting Linda promised him an HOA salary. Sarah's deed records and footage of Linda spray painting markers sealed it. The judge voided every filing, fined Linda for fraud, ordered restitution, and sentenced her to community service VYC at a veteran center. Dan faced bar scrutiny. Linda's accounts were frozen. At our Freedom Barbecue, kids waved sparklers and a clipboard-shaped cake with a red X stole the show. Linda, in a volunteer apron, flipped burgers, avoiding eyes. I offered her a hot dog. She took it silent. I walked away. No speech needed. I hung a sign on my fence, secure by veterans and common sense. HOA free forever. We didn't just stop Linda. We stopped a bad idea from spreading. Justice bit hard, thanks to some stubborn airmen with time and grit. Now, what do you think? Was Linda a mastermind or just delusional? Should neighbors have fought sooner? Or was our slow burn strategy the key? Could you stand up to a fake authority like that? Or would you fold under pressure? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more wild stories. Let's keep the fight for freedom alive.